Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for attending the Pick Your Path on hiring a Wildcat, finding and applying for jobs through the career services here on campus. I'm just going to go over some quick kind of housekeeping of what to kind of do during this time while we have our presenters speak. The webinar is going to be recorded. It's not recording your faces at this time, but feel free to go ahead and turn off your camera if you choose to. We are recording this for the purposes to post later onto the University of Kentucky's Stuckert Career Center Facebook. So feel free, if you need to go back to the video and answer any of your questions, that will be available there. All participants will be automatically muted. So I've already started muting some of you, and that's for the purposes of preventing external noise. But for any of your comments or questions, please put those in the chat box. They'll be available at the bottom or the right-hand corner of your screen, and I'll be monitoring them throughout the presentation. The presenters will also review and answer any of your questions at the end of their section. So starting off, we have both David and Rhonda from the Office of Student Financial Aid and Scholarships here to talk about work study.
Hey, thank you very much. We'll go ahead and just get going here. The work study, of course, is part of the Office of Financial Aid and Scholarships. And what is work study? Work study provides funding through work for students who are eligible. And you are deemed eligible by reviewing your FAFSA. You do need to complete a FAFSA. Of course, the tax and income information that you and or your parents put on the FAFSA is just one of the ways we determine that eligibility. We do have jobs that are on and off campus. We work with various departments on campus and also nonprofit organizations off campus. For those who are interested, they do work with student schedules, so there is flexibility there. And you get to earn extra money to spend how you like. And work study funds are not directly applied to a student's account, such say like a grant would be. You actually earn the allotment you're awarded through the hours you work. And next slide. Okay, work study allows students to gain experience that they can use on their resume. So you can feel free, maybe you use your supervisor as a reference, maybe you put down that job as experience that you've had. You possibly could gain employment within the field of your major. So for example, right now we work with College of Law, Science and Engineering, Opera Theater, and that's just to name a few. But it is possible you could get more experience within the field of your major by getting a job through work study within that field. Also, you can make connections that can serve you throughout your career. You may, like I said, that kind of relates back to the getting a job in the field of your major. You may have experience, references that you can use throughout your life, the lifetime of your career. And plus, it helps you enjoy the college experience. You get to meet new people, new experiences, and everything like that. We'll go on to the next slide. And when can students work? If you're enrolled in classes, you may work up to 29 hours per week. Now, it's not set that you have to work 29 hours per week. You could say work 2 hours per week. That's between you and your supervisor to work out how many hours they need you and how many hours you would be available. But you just cannot go over 29. And then when not enrolled in classes, for example, say spring break or summer when students aren't in class, you can work up to 40 hours a week. Again, it's not required that you do work 40. You just cannot go over 40 hours a week during that time. And next slide, please. How do students get paid? They're paid bi-weekly on the same payroll schedule as UK. So every 2 weeks you're paid. That can come via direct deposit or paper check. However, we do highly recommend direct deposit just because it's easier and it's much simpler to get your money deposited in your bank account instead of having to pick up a paper check. So that is something we definitely recommend. And next slide, please. And how easy is it to sign up? Well, first, like I said, you need to complete a FAFSA. At that point, we'll review the FAFSA. Your financial aid counselor will look at the FAFSA. And if you're eligible, you, of course, would be awarded. Now, when it comes to being awarded, there is a box where you can check on your FAFSA that you're interested in federal work study. If you did not check that box, for example, then, of course, you could reach out to myself or your financial aid counselor. Let us know of your interest in work study. And if you're eligible, we'll just add you to a wait list, which at that point, you'll just get a UK email telling you that you've been awarded, as we award from that list each week. Now, requesting a packet, that would be your next step. Once you're awarded, you can contact me and say, hey, I'd like to have a federal work study packet, and our course will email you one. And once you're hired, it'll be up to you and your supervisor to complete that packet and return it to our office. After you receive the packet, of course, you can apply for positions at the UK Jobs website. And then, like I said, once you're hired, you return the packet, and you can complete a background check if it's necessary. You would only have to complete that background check, say, if you've never worked at UK or if it's been over a year since you worked at UK. And next slide. And how do students know if they're eligible? Like I said, you can contact your financial aid counselor, of course, or you can contact us. There is our email on the screen. It's FWS, standing for, of course, Federal Work Study. So fws@uky.edu, or contact our office phone, which is 859-218-2001. And next slide. And of course, any questions?
Feel free if you have any questions for David at this time in the chat box. If not, both David and Rhonda are also going to say a little bit later if you want to ask your questions later. Okay. Next, we have Sadie, who is coming from student employment, who's going to talk more about the on-job campus website.
Thank you, Ashley. I'm so excited to be here, and welcome to our new Wildcats. And we'll get started. I have a lot of information to go over, so I'm going to speak kind of quickly, but like Ashley mentioned, if you have questions, throw it in the chat box. I'd be more than happy to answer it. So first slide, we're going to go over what HR student employment is. So here at UK, we have a very decentralized student employment process. So as David mentioned, federal work study positions go through financial aid. On-campus departments for non-work study positions will post the position and do their own hiring process. And then here at HR student employment, we are grant funded to work with off-campus employers or on-campus third-party vendors. So we look for positions within the local community that suit our students' needs. So part-time, flexible, mostly entry-level type of positions. And then most of our positions are located off campus. So with the exception of those third-party vendors like UK Dining or some hospital positions, most of our positions will be located off campus. Our service is free to all students as long as you're currently enrolled in classes. And like I mentioned, we are grant funded. So some benefits of using student employment is we typically have higher pay rates because they're off-campus employers. You can gain work experience for your resume. The flexible scheduling, like I mentioned, they understand that you're a student first. And then building your skill sets. This is something that we like to talk about a lot with our students about transferable skills. So those typical skills that you might build in a position, how do you articulate those to future employers and build your transferable skill sets? For example, if you work at a coffee shop and you might just say, well, I make coffee. Well, to help you get a position to start your career, you might want to say something like, I have cash handling abilities or customer relation ability, things like that. So how can you leverage what you do day to day to move towards your career or your ideal job? All of our positions are part-time, except for during the summer, we do allow employers to post full-time positions. And then you can earn while you learn. So while you're here at UK getting your education, you can earn money to help you with paying tuition or food or whatever you need to pay for your expenses. So first I'm going to go over how to apply to off-campus jobs. You're going to visit the UK Jobs website, and there you'll be able to create an application. Once you create your first application, you can reuse that application to apply to other positions. So don't think that you have to create an application for every position you apply to. We do ask when you create that application to complete it as thoroughly as possible and make sure you're updating that information as you go through your 4 or so many years of college here, because you want to make sure you're not leaving your freshman information while you're a senior. And then you will search the student tab position, which will list all of the student positions that are on campus, off campus, and federal work study positions. But since we're talking about off campus, you will want to use the search button to select off campus and filter out that search. Then you can apply to any position that you are interested and feel that you are qualified for. We do encourage students to apply to any position you're interested in. If you're not sure if you qualified for it, just apply. It doesn't hurt you any. You're not doing any harm. Worst case scenario is you don't get the position. Best case, you get a new job. So go ahead, don't get discouraged, apply, apply, apply. The next step for the off-campus positions will be to schedule a referral interview. So you'll receive an email that asks you to schedule an appointment. So we have a scheduling tool that you can check the availability. Right now with back to school, since we see higher volume, we do have our appointment time spread out a little bit more through the day, so to give you more availability, but typically our hours are around 12:30 to 4. We are offering our services virtually for the fall and most likely through the spring due to COVID, and our referral interviews are very informal. So we're not going to pressure you with super intense interview questions. It's more of making sure you meet the requirements that the employer is looking for. Once we determine you meet those qualifications, we'll refer you in our system, which will give you an email, which will give you all the information on how to contact that specific employer and what they're looking for as far as a resume or cover letter, or how they want you to apply within their organization. So I will mention that all of the positions that come through our office are marked with an SE requisition number, and that'll make a little bit more sense to you in a minute after we go over on-campus positions. So on-campus positions, the process is going to be very similar. You'll apply on the UK Jobs website with that application you've created. You can use the filter to search for on-campus jobs or other filters that you find beneficial. All of our positions like federal work study will be on the on-campus side, except for those off-campus nonprofit positions they have. So once you apply, like I said, the departments post and do their own hiring process. So every hiring process can be different for the on-campus applications. Federal work study positions, like David mentioned, you're going to qualify through your FAFSA, and they're located in Funkhauser if you have questions with them. And all of their positions are going to start with an FWS to identify the federal work study. And on-campus positions will have a requisition number starting with a DU. So if Ashley could pop over to the UK Jobs website, we will give you a little quick tour. So this is going to be your UK Jobs homepage. You'll see that the tabs identify different sections on our campus of different positions you can apply to. You're going to want to click the positions for student positions. And like I said, that will show you all the on-campus, off-campus, and federal work study. This initial top gray box is going to be your filter box. That's where you can filter for just federal work study positions, or you can filter for on-campus or off-campus. And that will help you filter out and be able to select positions you're more interested in. And if you scroll down for a moment, you will see that those posting numbers start with different letters. So that SE, that's going to be student employment. Those are going to be your off-campus positions or third-party vendor positions. And then if you see the DU positions a little further down, that first one you'll see is marked with an FWS. So that is a federal work study position. And then that next DU position is just a regular non-work study on-campus position. Pop back to our slides. All right. So once you come into our office for the screening referral interview, it is very informal. Like I mentioned, you're going to schedule an appointment. We just rolled that out this Friday, so we're very excited about that to be most efficient with your time and our time and get you in and out as fast as possible. So it'll all be conducted over the phone, and that, like I said, we're just making sure you meet the requirements. So if the employer is asking that you have a driver's license or something like that, we're just confirming that you meet that requirement. We also like to talk about other resources with you as well, such as the Stuckert Career Center, who offers amazing resources for students to advance their careers. We also talk about basic needs, and that we really kind of use that time to get a feel for what you might need and the resources we can suggest for you. Once we determine that you meet those qualifications with the employer, you'll get a second email with the instructions on how to apply with the direct contact of that employer. So then we do ask, because we are grant funded, that you report to us if you've been hired. So this helps us prove that we deserve the grant funding and they should continue to give it to us. But it also helps us keep our website up to date as well. So if you've been hired and filled a position, we can take that position off of our website. So we do ask for your name, but it is not recorded to the government at all for our funding. We just use that you've been hired and what position that you've been hired for, and that your average hourly pay rate. And like I said, if you don't know these, you can always just estimate it or just let me know that you don't know, and we'll check back with you once you've started your position. So this summer, especially with COVID, we've seen a very big increase in phishing scams going around our campus. So this is something that we like to talk to our students about as well. And your placement associate will talk about to you about this with your placement, your referral interview. But just to give you an idea of what to look out for, some of the signs would be the job is too good to be true. They're offering you way too much money for something so simple, like I'm going to pay you $500 a week to walk my dog for an hour, or hey, you can come be my personal assistant, you can work remotely this whole time, you never even have to meet me, and I'll pay you $700 for 5 hours of work. So just keep that in mind when you're reading emails that you weren't expecting, or they reached out to you about a job. Make sure you're using your common sense and things like that to see, does it feel right? Is the job description super vague? Did they reach out to you? Is there poor grammar in the email? And as you communicate with them, does the grammar get worse, or does it seem like it's just not right? They want to send you money is a big one. They want to send you a check and have you deposit it, and then have you send cash or gift cards to other locations like an orphanage or something like that. And what ends up happening is you cash that check and you send the money somewhere, and then your bank comes back to you and says that that check bounced. And then you're reliable for that money plus whatever bank fees they might have on top of that. So this is just something that you really, really want to be thorough when you're getting emails and make sure that the employer seems legit. You can always reach out to our services, even if it's not a job through us, to make sure if you have questions, we're always happy to help with this. So the University of Kentucky does have a no for rehire policy. Some of the most common reasons to get separated as a no for rehire are job abandonment, quit without notice, or sleeping on the job. This is pretty easy to avoid and might sound kind of silly, but sometimes your workload with class or your class schedule changes and you just stop showing up to work, and that's a job abandonment. So if that happens, just talk to your supervisor. They are very happy to work with you. If you're thinking about leaving the position, ask what kind of notice they might require. If you get put on this list, you are ineligible to apply for any positions through the university for one full semester. Once that semester is over, you are eligible then to apply to have it overturned, which is not guaranteed. It goes to a committee for review. And if it does not get overturned, you would be ineligible until the foreseeable future and until you get it overturned at some point to apply for jobs. So just as a student, if you get marked on this no for rehire, you could potentially graduate and not be eligible to work at the university after graduation. So this is something we really ask you to try to avoid. Talk to your supervisors, communicate with them, ask questions if you need to, but just really try to avoid getting marked on this list. The next thing is going to be completing an I-9. So regardless if you're applying for off-campus, on-campus, or federal work-study positions, you will be required to fill out an I-9 before your first day of work. So this is a federal form that verifies that you're eligible to work in the United States. And in order to complete it, you will need some acceptable documents. A lot of students don't come to campus with these documents, so if you are planning to work, make sure you come up with a plan to talk to your parents or whoever might have these documents for you to get them to you. So on the next slide, we're going to talk about what those documents might be. So this is the federal list of acceptable documents. You can Google this, just I-9 list of acceptable documents, and it can come up so you can have it for your reference. If you have a document from list A, that is all you need to complete your I-9. If you do not have a document from list A, you will need a document from list B and list C. So like I said, a lot of students don't have these on campus with them. Make sure you work with the person who has these documents for you. A lot of folks don't like to mail these documents because they are important, and if they get lost, that can be an issue. So make sure if you're planning to go home or your parents are coming to visit, that they're able to bring you these documents. And lastly, you can connect with us by either telephone or our studentemployment@uky.edu web or email address. We are located in Scoville Hall. Right now, we are having our services done remotely, but you can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook at UK Student Employment. And on our Instagram and Facebook, we do promote the jobs that we are posting. So it's a way for you to kind of keep an idea on what off-campus jobs are being posted. We also post upcoming job fairs that we're involved with, or other campus activities that we think might be interested to our students. So I noticed that there was a couple questions that popped up in the chat, I believe.
Yes, there's one. Are there any departments on campus that can help us with building and tailoring resumes? That is actually with my department,
Yes.
Career Center. We're going to dive deeper into that. So thank you guys for asking those questions. So my name's Ashley Murphy-Gei. I'm one of 7 career advisors at the Stuckert Career Center. And we also have multiple other career centers such as the College of Engineering, the Gatton Business Economics College, the College of Agriculture, Food and Environment, College of Nursing, College of Pharmacy, and so on. But we are one of the main ones on campus. We offer services currently right now, both in person, by phone, email, virtually, Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. So feel free to reach out to us or come visit us, and we can be glad to help you with any of our services. Our focus is to help you through your career exploration and career development. So we do offer exploratory career advising, whether you're trying to decide upon a major, decide upon a career path, or if you need that help to develop in your career path, such as job shadowing, informational interviewing, or internships with employers, whether it's resume reviews, cover letter reviews that you might need for the job applications on UK Jobs. We also help out with providing you connections with employers at our career fairs, networking events, info sessions. So we are really trying to build that career development for you on campus as early as your freshman year, all the way to your alumni status. We do also have 2 major exploratory associates. They come with over 10 years of academic advising experience, so they're very familiar with all of our academic programs here and how those majors can transfer into careers. So if you have a major in mind, or if you're completely undecided or have multiple majors in mind, but you need some narrowing down of options, work with us and our MIAs, our major exploratory associates, to kind of figure out what is going to be the best pathway for you. And we usually do that through career assessments. We have free assessments, and just to clarify, they're not a test or a quiz. They're really just an opportunity for us to kind of assess what you might be interested in, what you like, what you dislike, what is your personality, and what can we find is a good fit for you for your career path. As for career readiness, yes, we do the resumes, the cover letter reviews, portfolio reviews for students who might do web design, art administration, computer science, and so on. We offer interview prep, not just for jobs and internships, but also for graduate and pre-professional schools, such as med school, law school, dental, pharmacy, and so on. We do help out with the job search and internship process. So if you're looking for a local job, internship, or even a national or international opportunity, we have the resources to kind of guide you what could be the best opportunity for you. We do have people who are trained in salary negotiation. So once you come to us senior year and you want to have that conversation of how you want to better market yourself for salary, we can open that conversation with what to sell yourself for. We do help out with graduate and professional school prep, whether that's the application process, the resume, the interview, or even searching and finding the right graduate and professional school for you. Also, gap year. Sometimes not everybody knows what they're going to do after graduation or during, their time here. So if you need to consider a gap year, we can kind of help you what you could do during that time to still develop if you decide to come back to UK or, plan to go to graduate and professional school later on. As for career networking, as I said, we host job shadowing. We have a fabulous job shadowing program that we've started up, and we are doing that virtually to connect you to employers to see their company and see what they do. So if you want to take advantage of that opportunity, please let us know and we can get you started. Anybody who's interested in the STEM field, so science, technology, engineering, mathematics, we have a lot of undergraduate research opportunities to work with faculty. We also even have research opportunities for people who are not interested in STEM, focused in psychology, focused in liberal arts and social behaviors. So those opportunities are also available that look marketable to employers. We do have a part-time job fair and a career fair that we host every semester. Our part-time job fair this year will be on Thursday, August 27th. That will be a virtual fair from 12 to 4. We host career networking mixers with employers as well as employer info sessions, which we will look to do virtually this semester. Handshake is the component that I want to demonstrate for you all today. This is our career platform that we use with employers to post our jobs and internships that we have with them, as well as our career events. So I'm going to go to that website for you real quick. Okay. On this website, what you're going to see is this dashboard here. Every student has a custom dashboard. This is based off of your major and your career path plans, as well as any kind of city or country locations that you want to filter down to. So it's really going to be catered to you. So John Doe is not going to have the same dashboard as Jane Doe. For jobs, all of our jobs and internships are posted here. And just like our job board here at UK, you can look for full-time, internship, and part-time roles. Some of these are going to be out of the city area as well as locally. And some are even going to be some remote opportunities. So you might be able to work at home if you choose to. Our events are listed as well here. They'll indicate if they are a virtual event. And you also have access to events that are not part of Kentucky. So if, let's say, you wanted to move to Baltimore, for example, you have access to the Baltimore events in that area. We have several universities and colleges that use Handshake, so we have that flexibility to have that type of resource. Lastly is scheduling appointment. If you need to schedule an appointment with any of our career advisors or our major exploratory associates, you want to go here to the Career Center page, and it's going to take you to appointments. When you schedule an appointment, it's going to filter you by your college. So if you're a B&E student, if you are an engineering student, nursing, the other colleges, they're going to filter you to those career centers so that way you can get a catered experience. If not, you'll come to the Stuckert Career Center. And you'll see our full list of services that you could take advantage of. Some of these appointments range for about 30 minutes to an hour. And as I mentioned, we're available this semester by phone, email, Zoom, or in person. So whatever you like to use. The last feature that I'm going to show you on Handshake is our resources. Our resources page is everything that we use in our office available at your fingertips. So for example, our major exploration tool is a great resource to use if you're looking to explore all the academic majors here at UK. And it'll take you straight to that website to get more information of what you need for your degree path, as well as kind of what you're searching for as a career. Going back to the presentation. As I mentioned with Handshake, it gives you a great opportunity to see all the internships and jobs with our employer partners. So you get full access of local, national, and international opportunities. And I would like to also mention a lot of our internships, 75 to 80% of them are paid opportunities. So those are going to get you some great exposure, but also money in your pockets during this time. You can upload your resume, cover letter, and build a portfolio similar to LinkedIn. That way you can connect with employers through there. And that is a service, as I mentioned, that will continue on to your alumni status. Other online resources that you might want to take advantage of is Candid Career. Candid Career is an opportunity for you to watch videos of interviews from people who hold certain positions or work for some companies within certain majors. So you can filter within your major of types of jobs that maybe you can do with biology or do with psychology or computer science. We have a vast amount of opportunities listed on there. And then Interview Stream. So if you have an interview coming up, you have the preparation tool to video yourself and get tips on how you can improve responding to those types of answers. All other resources are also listed on our website, so feel free to navigate our website with up-to-date events as well as opportunities and resources. Other campus partners that weren't able to join us today that would be useful to you would be Financial Wellness. Financial Wellness has wonderful resources on financial management, budgeting, finding jobs, especially when you need to pay the bills at the end of the month. So they have a wonderful staff that I work with very often that will help you be more financially literate so that way you can feel more financially comfortable. Wildcat Wardrobe Career Closet is a free resource for you where you can not only find interview and work apparel from ties, jackets, dresses, shoes, purses that you can use for those, but also opportunity to keep those items so that way you can continue to use them. All you need is your student ID in order to access that. Feel free to contact them at wildcatwardrobe@uksga.org in order to gain access of this opportunity. And lastly, Wildcat Works. This is a service offered for our on-campus opportunities. All you need to do is ask your employer that you want to develop your professional skills through Wildcat Works. And it will be an online training of 6 courses, each an hour each, so about 6 hours, that are going to focus on communication, work ethics, professionalism, as well as other categories. And those categories are really important skill sets that we've talked to with employers that they want to see in candidates that you can list on your resume for future jobs for yourself. As I mentioned, we will have a part-time job fair. It will be Thursday, August 27th from noon to 4. So go ahead and register on Handshake so that way you can get day-to-day updates of what employers are attending as well as any information that you would need to prepare for the event. If you don't have time to schedule for an appointment, we do offer virtual drop-in hours Monday through Friday from 12 to 4 via Zoom. So feel free to take down this Zoom link and have access to us to any of our career advisors. This is the end of our presentation. So if you do have questions at the end, feel free to put them in the chat box. I do see a couple questions, so I'm going to go ahead and ask them. For David, who do we contact to get a FAFSA packet?
If you mean a work study packet, you can contact myself at fws@uky.edu. I'm assuming you meant the work study packet, is that correct?
I'm assuming, yes, it was
okay.
The FWS, okay. And then, are the job opportunities mentioned available for freshmen, or do you have to be a junior in order to work on campus?
So you can be a freshman to apply to the positions on our UK Jobs website. You'll want to read the requirements because certain positions do ask if you be a certain major or a certain status of freshman or junior, senior, depending on what the position requirements are. But majority of the positions are open for everyone to apply to.
If there's any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat box. If not, we've greatly appreciated you guys attending our session today. We hope you guys enjoy the rest of your K week, and we're so glad to have you back on campus. Have a great day.